And we are live, even though Danielle is off looking for her phone because this didn't work the first time. So instead, you get to listen to me. I'm here drinking coffee in my office. Before she returns and bores you with details about all of these critters that are stacked up on my desk here and their scientific names and cool animal facts, we're going to talk about the most important thing. And the most important thing is what coffee we're drinking today. That would be La Yerba from the Yarat, Mexico. I don't know for sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is a natural dried on raised beds processed coffee. And it tastes of peach, floral, caramel, and chocolate. It is roasted by our friends at Blossom Coffee Roasters. They do not sponsor us. They are welcome to, though. But they do sponsor the coffee. It's just amazing. We're live. We are live. So we're going to show off one of the really, really cool scaleless corn snakes now.
We wandering the house looking for my phone. Hello, everyone. Is there anybody here?
I have no idea. I didn't have any.
4 people are here.
Oh, look at that. Here you go. We covered the most important part.
The coffee?
Yes.
Yeah.
So who's your friend?
This friend doesn't have a name yet. This, for those that have met Percy, this one is actually Percy's sibling. And it looks very different. It's been doing really good with handling, but isn't quite as used to handling as Percy is. So Percy's the one that goes to all the shows with us. Whoop, careful.
Is this the female that we're thinking?
Yeah, I think this one's a female, but we're going to probe this next month to find out what everybody is. We're going to practice sexing snakes. So as new breeders, it's very stressful to answer the question when people want to know what the gender of the snake is, because we just don't have a lot of practice in making sure we know the answer to that question. And
I thought it was also stressful because you could hurt the snake.
Oh, yeah, you can hurt the snake. So there are 2 methods for sexing. The first is that you can do what's called popping. And that's where you actually put pressure on the cloaca of the snake to make sure that if it's a boy, you get its boy parts to pop out. And if it's a girl, then it doesn't, or you did it wrong. And that's also stressful. Then the other method is to do a probe, and you are actually sticking that inside to find out how long the space is there. And if you go too hard and too fast, you can hurt the snake that way as well. So it's very stressful for me. And I really hate the fact that you either did it wrong is one of the options. It's either a female or you did it wrong.
Aren't you glad that you're a human, not a snake?
So where's everybody coming in from? All 4 of you. Where is, you gonna put this one back? Then if anybody has met a scaleless corn snake, you either met Bacchus, or well, one of our scaleless corn snakes, you either met Bacchus or you met Percy. Percy here is one of our favorites and one of the first that we produced ever. Well, the whole clutch was. So in 2023, we got our first corn snakes, and this was one of 2 clutches that hatched that year. And we actually kept 4 of the babies out of 6. So we have most of that clutch. We did find out that some of the babies that we sold turned out to be very beautiful, beautiful scaleless corn snakes. And then we were like, should we have held them all back? But we can't keep everything, right? That's the general consensus. We can't keep everything. Which you were fine with until you had ball python babies you wanted to keep, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. How about does this look familiar?
Are you trying to show off my baby?
So on Peter's list of things that he didn't want to give up, this beauty is Lizzie. And she is a little grouchy today because it's food day and she thinks she should be fed. She was like, I don't know about this getting out and handling bit. I want food. So this girl is the one that Peter has a hard time wanting to let go. And we actually have her mom and dad here in this room too today. Oh, there she goes. So ball pythons are called ball pythons because they ball up when they're nervous. And they'll even hide their heads. So they'll turn into a whole little ball when they're really nervous. And then as they relax, then they start spreading out and exploring, sticking out their heads. So the snake is using its tongue to bring in information into a special organ that they have in the top of their mouth. And we compare it to smelling because we have no idea if like we have nothing to compare that sense to.
I told you there would be cool animal facts.
Well, and Ashley's on board for coffee.
That's because Ashley is smart.
So we actually have with us a couple of others from this clutch, and it's really cool to look at how different they can be. And we have their mom and dad too. Here, hold Lizzie. This beautiful girl, I love too, but she's not quite as brilliant in color. She's got a nifty head stamp though, like her head is really interesting. And she's got lots of flaming up the sides, but she looks very different than her sister. I'm gonna hold her sister up now. See? You can compare them. Upgraded camera equipment in the future. She's also much more curious today than Lizzie.
What's going to put you today? Usually you're so outgoing.
She gets grumpy when she's hungry.
Are you hungry? I'm very sorry. She wanted to do a live instead of feeding you.
So then their dad is this guy here. And he actually was labeled a girl from the breeder that we bought him. And then the mom was labeled a boy. And we put them together. And we saw that they did their thing. But then the dad or the boy laid eggs. And the girl did not. So he's actually looking for a new home. In that whole we can't keep them all thing. So he is on the list of things that of critters looking for a new home. Along with Lizzie's sibling or female sibling here who doesn't have a name. We did sell 2 of the babies from this clutch. Now, if you've been to the shows, you may have met Loki. Loki is the female. She's actually the mom. And this actually really emphasizes how ball python genes, they don't look just like their parents. They can look very different than their parents. And so she's a good girl, but she'll be staying here, though she does go to the shows with us sometimes.
She's a very good girl.
I know. You don't want to go back in the box, but that's where we're at today. Those were my ball pythons. Oh, I didn't show off my shed. I went back to get it and didn't show it off when we had the scaleless out. So at the last show, somebody was asking what the scaleless corn snake's shed looked like. And I'll probably be taking one with us from now on just because it's kind of cool. So here's a recent shed that I pulled out. The scaleless corn snakes retain all of their belly scales. So you can see those here on the shed. And then the top is actually just the skin. So it's got this weird papery old lady skin feel to it. And then they do shed in one big tube, just like any other corn snake that's got proper humidity anyway. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, Julius is unhappy about his situation.
Well, let me put you in a little container and see how you feel about it. You got the brat out, huh?
Oh, you're calling her a brat because she didn't lay you eggs yet?
So far, she's a massive failure.
Massive. So this big girl here is Khaleesi. She's our female palmetto. We actually have 2 pair now, but she is the pair that those that are on the wait list were waiting for eggs from, and she has failed to lay. And she's paired with Confetti, and I got her out because most people have met Confetti. Khaleesi is very nice and very easy to handle, but we did find out that she does not like the shows at all. Yes, she does need it to get it together. At this rate, the other palmetto female that we just got might lay eggs before Khaleesi. We will find out.
We are accepting hate mail and reprimands.
So Khaleesi is very friendly and easy to handle, but she really, really hated shows. We took her to a show once, and she had her neck all puffed up weird and looked like she was sick. And so she hid all day in Peter's coat. And then I cuddled with her on the way back because it was really cold. And her and I slept in the car together.
It was adorable.
And then we got her in her enclosure, and she was fine. She was just perfectly happy and no sickness issues or anything like that. She just really did not like all of the busy commotion of the show. Nope, back in the little box. I know. She's like, what? Why would I go back in there?
You didn't bring hardly anybody to show off.
I didn't bring hardly anybody to show off.
You don't like talking about critters, do you?
I hate talking about critters.
I know. You never talk to me about critters. I had to drag you onto a live YouTube show just to get you to talk to me at all about critters.
So what critter do you want to show off next?
I'm not picky.
You're not picky? Hugh is more of a challenge to handle. Are you ready for that?
No, I'm definitely not ready for that.
So this guy here is Hugh. He is a lily white, and he is gone. Oh yeah, I love those reds underneath there. He's going to be a dad this year. We've got eggs, so we're definitely hoping for some lily white crested geckos this year. This was our first year producing them because he was slow to get big enough. And he's only been paired with one girl because he's still a little bit on the small side, but we will be pairing him with more girls next year.
I really don't think this camera really shows him all that reality.
It's still not nearly as beautiful as he is, but
yeah, I think we need to get some better lighting in here. We'll fix that. It's just the first live, buddy. Yeah.
In the background, we're going to have some cool enclosures too in the future. I'm really excited about what we're going to do in this room. Yeah. So we don't have a ton of the higher end stuff for crested geckos. A lot of our crested geckos are beautiful harlequins, but that does describe most of our crested geckos. We have one Dalmatian available right now. The other one sold last weekend. And then, so we're really looking forward to hatching out the lily whites. We do have some grow outs that could be interesting. I've got a couple of cappuccinos I'm hoping are girls so that we can pair them here with Hugh. We have a couple of other lily whites that should be big enough next year. And I have 4 that are possibly het axanthic. So that could be interesting to prove out what happens there. This is the one you requested. We were just talking about the eggs that we got from our first pair of chihuahuas. This is the dad. His name is Julius. And those eggs we're hoping hatch in August. So we're hoping to have a couple of baby chihuahuas this year, though we haven't gotten additional eggs, and I'm hoping that we can fix that and get more eggs. No, he's not on camera.
Oh, where is he?
On the back of your chair. Like, no. Here, look at the camera and move your head. The direction.
You'll be good?
He might. It's kind of a question mark, though. And you can't see him.
I know. That's like really the issue. There we go. You gonna hang out up there? Okay. You hang out.
On the opposite spectrum, so the Chihuahua, Julius isn't full grown, so he'll actually get bigger here in the next year or so. Come here. Oh, I know. So on the opposite of that, this is Albert. And Albert is 3 years old. He is a full-grown chameleon gecko. So it's Eurodactylodes verdelli. I think I'm butchering that, but that is what he is. And we have a girlfriend for him, but they have not produced any eggs. So we are going to be working on getting more of these guys this next year. I love these guys so much. And I think they recognize me. They seem to be way smarter than the other New Caledonian geckos we have. And they'll come running to get out. And they'll climb right out on you and hang out. They do jump, but a lot less than a crested gecko or a gargoyle gecko. Albert here, before we got him, he actually lost quite a few of his front toes. So he doesn't hold on quite as good as his girlfriend. And jumped on the keyboard. Now the females are huge compared to the males.
Did you catch it? Scientific names. I did not promise correct pronunciation.
So this is the female. And she weighs twice as much as the male. So she's chunky. The cat wants in. She feels like she's missing out.
She is missing out. All her friends are in here.
Okay. Oh, you don't want to go back, Janice? They are so cute. So the recommended enclosure size is a 12 by 12 by 18. And they are supposed to eat more bugs, but I actually haven't found very many that they'll eat. And so it might be a juvenile thing because these guys we got as full grown. The Chihuahuas as juveniles eat bugs like crazy, but Julius and Cara and Mary don't really eat them that much. So I think it's something that they like eat a lot as babies, and then they grow out of that. And then they're eating Pangea. Huh. And they're climbing up the screen. So, and there's 4 different species of the chameleon geckos. They all look really similar, but still I want to collect them all. I was talking to a breeder this weekend about how they feel like Pokemon, even though they look the same. You got to collect them all. Dude, you can't jump over there.
He really wants to try.
They do better in a pair than the other New Caledonian geckos. But then obviously they would be breeding. Now we have 6 people. Is this where we start all over again?
You sound way too excited by that idea.
So this weekend, we did pick up some special things, and we are going to share a couple of those with you. This guy here is the first one that I'm going to show you. I don't actually know if it's a guy. We've just been calling it a guy. Come on, buddy. Let me glove up all the way. Being like Bob Vu. I saw a video of Bob Vu, who breeds ball pythons, for those that don't know. And he was out herping, and they caught some dart frogs, and he only had one glove, and they put the dart frog on his hand, and then he dropped the frog, and then he went to grab it with the other hand, and in the wild, it would actually be poisonous. This is not a dart frog. So this guy here, this dirty little monkey, is a Pac-Man frog, and he's much prettier than he looks with all his little dirt on him. He's chunky, and he's been in the dirt, obviously. And we wanted to give a big shout out to our friends at Sterling Exotics, because they're the ones that produce the amazing Pac-Man frogs. And she actually taught me all about, like, way more than I ever imagined I'd know about Pac-Man frogs, because I really don't think I want to breed Pac-Man frogs. She did say never say never. And Pac-Man frogs are actually harder to breed than a lot of species. And so I asked, well, you can get them everywhere, so why is that? And actually, the big breeders use hormones to get their Pac-Man frogs to breed. And it's really bad for the frogs. And it's actually illegal now, unless you're grandfathered in, which seems totally crazy. But if you go to PetSmart or Petco and you get your frog from there, they'll have actually used hormones to make the frog breed. So it's definitely worth paying a little bit more and getting a frog from somebody you can trust, like Sterling Exotics. Yeah. What do you think?
That is where I get all my Pac-Man frogs.
That is true. That is where we've gotten all of our Pac-Man frogs. He does need a name. And she totally told me she could give us a guess of whether or not it was a boy or a girl, but I was talking too much. I know it's a real big surprise. And I forgot to ask her to look after I had picked out the frog.
Shocked. I'm just shocked.
It would have just been a guess anyway. He is just going to chill behind your head.
The Chihuahuas are amazing for that. If you'd like a chill gecko, one that hangs out with you, the Chihuahuas are the best choice I've found thus far.
So Peter has played video games in here with the Chihuahuas, and they'll just chill for the most part. Every now and again they'll move, but they'll hang out. And the cat is really sad about missing this.
She can be sad. It's good coffee, isn't it?
It's great coffee, Peter. It's great coffee. That is everybody. That's all I brought. That wasn't enough.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you brought?
It is.
What kind of show was that for the people?
I don't know. Short one.
It was a very short one.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to show off somebody else.
Who? Oh, yeah. But we didn't bring him here. Are you ready to do that?
That's up to you.
Are you guys ready to see our surprise?
There's only 5 minutes left. We should probably put him away first.
Why do we have 5 minutes left?
I was going to get us to half an hour.
Oh, okay. Hi, buddy. I know you weren't happy in the cup, and then I'm going to put you back in the cup. Come on.
He's pretty smart. He was going to stay up there. I'd just stay too.
Yeah, you're such a pretty boy. Just to show them off for a second more. Ooh. Okay, bud. You gotta tuck your tail in. You don't want to pinch your tail.
Tail pinching is bad.
Yeah. I'm against tail pinching.
This is where you want me to get them out?
Don't you want to get them out?
Sure, I'll do that.
So I'm still really new in the terms of how long we've been keeping reptiles. In 2020, our daughter wanted to get a ball python, and that was kind of the first reptile. I mean, that was the first reptile that came into our house. And so from there, we've gone crazy, and now we have over 250 animals somewhere in that ballpark. And shortly after I got really into it, I knew that I loved reticulated pythons. Now, these are the ones that it's the longest snake in the world, so they can get up to 25 feet if you get the really big ones. And I knew for sure that Peter and I could not handle a 25-foot snake. So I learned that there were super dwarfs, and it was super exciting, and I did all kinds of research, and I really wanted a super dwarf. That it gets really complicated because if you don't trust the person who bred the animal, you could get an animal labeled a super dwarf who's still a giant. And at this last show, there was a couple who were getting out of snakes, and one of their passions is reticulated pythons, and they had true super dwarf pythons there, reticulated pythons. And so we got Achilles, and he is a 100% Kalatoa, which is an island, reticulated python. So he is a super dwarf. And as a super dwarf, he is full grown. So he's 4 years old. And Peter did feel like it was anticlimactic. Well, he is now the longest snake we own. He's super skinny. So he is smaller than some of our ball pythons. We should have gotten one of those out. We should get Asmo out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So he is skinnier than the ball pythons, and that makes him feel a lot smaller than they. You're looking a little tense there. What's up, bud? So the reticulated pythons are believed to be the second smartest snake in the world, behind king cobras, and we are very excited to own a super dwarf reticulated python. But we will not be getting a king cobra ever. So we're going to stick with just the second smartest snake in the world. And we are actually going to pick up his girlfriend in a couple of weeks. And she is 2 years old. So she actually has to be at least 4 to breed. So it'll be a few years before we can have baby reticulated pythons available. But we are really excited to be working with true super dwarf reticulated pythons. Now the female will, so we're guessing Achilles is about 6 foot. We didn't actually measure him in any official capacity, and that's probably something we need to do here in the future. But his girlfriend is smaller than he is right now because she's only 2, but she'll end up being around 8 to 8.5 foot, and that will be plenty big enough. You're cuddled below the camera line. Yeah, you're settling in. That's great, but nobody can see you. You gotta go taller. Yeah, you can just go look at it. He's like, I don't wanna.
Too smart for his own good.
Yeah, dude. No, we're not gonna go explore the office. I know you like exploring the office. So we've got some great plans for them. We are gonna build some crazy cool enclosures that will be behind us here in this room here. And I want to build them a jungle gym outside and give them lots of climbing opportunities. They are considered semi-arboreal, so they like to climb. And we're also working to make sure that he doesn't hunt our rabbit. It's on the list of things to avoid. So does anyone have any questions for our first live here? I know it was kind of short and we're just getting used to this. We are looking at doing coffee and critters on a somewhat regular basis. It is going to have to be squeezed in between our show schedule. For anybody that's local, we will be in Durham at the Show Me Reptile Show on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And we'll have a wide variety of cool critters, including this girl and her dad. You have to ignore the cup. I just threw him in a cup that said something. She's not a striped gargoyle gecko.
Are you sure? That's what the label says.
I'm positive this one isn't a striped gargoyle gecko.
She doesn't believe anything she reads.
So we did, our son is helping me upload everything to Morph Market, which has been very, very helpful. Oh yeah. Did you, I know you're looking at doing gargoyle geckos. Did you need her? So our son helped us upload all the different critters to Morph Market. And there was one where it was labeled a gargoyle gecko, but the pictures were of a crested gecko. It had gotten mixed up in the data. And somebody was super excited and they're like, oh, I really, really want to buy this hybrid. And I was like, it's a clerical error. We didn't make a crested gargoyle gecko hybrid. He definitely loves the cameras. He is like, what is going on there?
He does. He's a smart boy. He would probably help me crawl up into my bookshelf.
Oh, yeah, he would crawl up into your bookshelf. He likes exploring and hiding up there. Did you see the Chihuahua? I don't have a lychee yet, so I have no idea how it compares to a crested or a gargoyle or whatnot. But the Chihuahua is the easiest one that we have to work with from the New Caledonia. So they are very chill and they hang out. Now, both this species and lychees can become, they call them enclosure defensive, where they will bite when you get them out of the enclosure. We have not had any problems. We are at 5 Chihuahuas now, and nobody has a problem with us reaching in and grabbing them. So this, I think, is one of my favorite New Caledonian geckos. I like how his head is stuck wherever he's looking. Yeah.
Retics don't eat those, do they?
No. Retics are going to be in that same group with the heat pits, so they're only going to eat warm-blooded creatures.
Oh, cool. See, I told you. Cool animal fact.
So these guys are going to, it's going to be bigger than the gargoyle geckos. So he's not full grown yet, and he's already a little bit bigger. Now, there are 2 varieties of Chihuahuas. One is from mainland New Caledonia, and those guys are going to be a little bit smaller than the Pine Island. Julius here is a Pine Island, and he should get to be about 70 grams when he's full grown. He's still got a little bit of growing left to do. And then, but they're way smaller than Chewies. So, yeah. Well, there's definitely always tons of I want it lists. I was looking at things on my I want it list yesterday.
You don't have anything on your I want it list. She never sends me cool creatures that she wants to own.
Whoop, don't back up. Don't back up. Don't back up. I know. We're going to go back in the deli cup.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to avoid.
I know. He's definitely trying to avoid that.
I try to avoid it too. Seems highly sensible to me.
The problem with I want it lists are money and space and fitting it all in. One of our children's messaging me.
It does happen.
We are definitely going to run out of room. So the enclosure that I want to build for these guys is actually a little on the small side for this species. But we are looking at doing 7 feet by 30 inches by 36 inches high. And then there'll be 2 cages stacked because there'll be the boy and the girl. And it will take up this whole wall back here. And these are our incubators here in the corner, but we're going to have to find someplace else for them. And so I'm hoping to get them custom made and have tons of climbing opportunities. And I was researching how to set it up for bioactive. So these guys are really active, and they're also kind of heavy. So the concern was that they would crush plants, but there's some recommendations on how to build out shelves and place sticks so that you can have live plants and still have the reticulated python in there. So I'm hoping to give it a go and see if we can make it work. They do pee a lot. So the research said that, and since they're only eating every 3 weeks or so, I thought that maybe they were exaggerating. And he's so much smaller than a mainland retic, but he has peed almost every night. Yeah, I'm so short just in general that we have a hard time going as high as we'd like to. I think that's true everywhere. There are, we have snake racks in the reptile room, and there are a couple of, I have to pick out who can go in those slots that are above my head because they will pop out and look at me. Khaleesi's on the list of snakes that she's right at eye level, and she likes to come out and look at me when I'm checking on her. I've been checking on her a lot because I was hoping for eggs. Silly girl. So yeah, she's a lot bigger than Confetti for those that have met Confetti. So we were hoping for a lot of eggs from her. I'm still hoping. I repaired the 2 of them, so there's still a chance that we could get eggs this year. It'll just be later in the year. And then Peter did buy a whole nother pair that are in quarantine, so they can't come visit, but they are beautiful. They look very similar though. White with spots. So I did look at grow tents as well for because we had to set up the tricolor hog noses will they'll lay eggs until they die if you don't find a way to get them to stop. And in Europe, they cycle them with lights and heat. And so I've actually yep, that's how we got to do it. Are you putting him in the bookcase on purpose?
Do I say?
The other thing we want to set up in here is we want to snake proof this room so that the ball pythons and the reticulated pythons can play, not together, but so we want to have lots of climbing opportunities for them and like hides around the room. It does mean finding new places for some of the stuff that is currently stored here and building out some stuff. So I'm real excited about how awesome it's going to be and how much we can share. I see you trying to get out. Yeah, you're such a pretty girl. So I looked into grow tents too, and I think it's definitely a viable option. There is a Facebook group that has a lot of cool options, like people share their information and how they're doing it, and all of that. So I think that's cool. I might be a little scared to put a corn snake in there just because they're so good at finding all the little nooks and crannies.
I would not put the retics in there either.
Some people do put retics in the grow tents.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, because they're
Okay.
so big. You need a big one.
I suppose that's valid.
So
Seems like a lot.
well, so the custom enclosure that I'm looking at, I think will be about $1,000 each. Whereas you could get a grow tent in that size range for a couple $100. Yes, I'm really bad. Like I did a bunch of videos last year of building out enclosures, and it is hard to find a good angle a lot of times because they're done in weird spots. But then I also forgot to edit the videos, and I never got them up. And that's on my list of things that I need to fix. And we are wanting to get back to doing regular YouTube videos. So there's so much information that I want to share with people and have available for customers. I know that it's really a lot easier to go to a video that's like corn snake care group and then corn snake care and then have the video tell you how to take care of a corn snake rather than read a great big long tutorial. Oh, more coffee. I totally get that. And I would just really, really make sure that you got no nooks and crannies that they can get out of. They can be really. So our second batch of corn snakes, we put into a homemade rack and I thought it was secure. And I woke up the next morning to find out that one of the corn snakes was missing. And we tore the room apart regularly for weeks. And we had just about given up when one night we were watching TV and Peter found him like 2 foot from where he had left. And then his name became AWOL. They could definitely. She's checking you out.
I see that.
I think she's so pretty.
She is. Is that that really bright one?
Yeah.
I think both of them are a little. I'm guessing they're headed towards shed.
Oh, they're a little duller than normal?
Yep, not quite as vibrant.
Yeah. You're doing so good with the handling and the eating. So the ball pythons make me a little bit frustrated because they're a pain in the butt to get eating. But this girl's definitely doing great on that front. And we don't like to sell them until they're eating really well, which is why we have 30 that nobody's seen yet. Right?
We got clowns. We got those bells. Of course, the bells are mostly sold, aren't they?
Yes, we have two out of 3 bells are sold.
I'm trying to think what else we got. We got the gargoyles. Bananas.
And we've got cool Mojave and GHI stuff came from that clutch.
Oh yeah, so that's super dark.
That's the GHI.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the bananas. What now? We showed off Achilles and the frog from Sterling Exotics. If anybody needs any frogs, they've got beautiful tree frogs, the white tree frogs, and they work with some other frogs too, like milk frogs and tomato frogs. I'm trying to think of what else I've seen on their table.
White tree frogs.
Yeah, the white tree frogs.
What's the big one that they show out? Is it the dumpy one? No, the dumpy one's something else, isn't it?
Do you mean the one that's like this?
Yeah, the giant one.
That's a Pac-Man frog.
No, the one that sits.
Oh, you mean the one on the stick?
Yeah.
That frog isn't for sale, and they don't have any babies yet because they're working on breeding it with its girlfriend. It is a waxy tree frog, I think, maybe. I've got a cool picture of it, but then I haven't. Yeah, I love GHI. We are actually going to put GHI into a bunch of things. I paired the GHI Mojave HRA to a banana, and she's looking good. I was going to pull her out and bring her here, but she was looking a little bit eggy. So, and then I was going to pair him again with Naga because that's the one that made the GHI clutch that we have now. But but Peter wants to pair Naga. Naga is a pastel cinnamon, and he wants to pair her with Nicholas because we saw this one called a campfire, and it did have really pretty campfire-y colors, like reds and oranges, when the combo doesn't seem like it should. And it is actually a cinnamon enchi calico. And so we have all the ingredients, and so Peter's wanting to try to make campfires next year. Right?
Super pretty.
It was super pretty. So we definitely have cool ball python projects happening. And we have so many cool things that we're excited to show off in the future that are all in quarantine. So, does anybody have any questions before we say goodnight? I always have a hard time signing off. I don't want to leave anybody. So, do you have substrate, like regular substrate in there, or the real question is it gnats or is it fruit flies? And it could be either. Okay, so if it's gnats and they're going to be a little bit smaller than fruit flies and they won't be attracted to the food, then you can cut back a little bit on watering and you can increase your springtails, and those two things will help a lot with reducing the gnat population. If it is legitimately fruit flies, which does happen in the reptile room, you want to leave the food for a shorter period of time. So you'll want to leave it for 24 hours and then pull it out so that the fruit fly larvae are not developing in the enclosure. And you'll really know if you have fruit flies for real because you'll have all the little larvae in the food dish. And we do get it in the reptile room a lot when the food goes for 2 days, or if I leave the trash can in there where I've thrown the food away at, and then they're breeding and multiplying in the trash can. I was talking to my brother about this today because we have dart frogs where I'm trying to breed fruit flies, the flightless variety. And I'm like, if only I could get these flyy ones to just go in there and be eaten by the dart frogs. It'd be very helpful. The flies aren't on board for that, though.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not interested in evolving to specifically get eaten by your creature's food?
Yeah, that'd be great, though.
Absolute shocker.
I even was trying to figure out how to lure them in there. I'm like, well, if I put gecko food in there, then they'll get in there. But then I was worried that the dart frogs would get into the gecko food and make a big mess. Definitely don't want to make messy dart frogs. So, and those guys climb way more than I thought they would. So I didn't expect them to climb at all. And there's a big pothos in there that's grown up all the way up in the 10-gallon. And the frogs will sit up there on the top of the leaves. And today I missed it. When I was spraying everything down, I totally missed the fact that one of the frogs was up there, and it jumped out and landed on the ground. And I had to catch the dart frog without touching it because I'm trying not to touch it. You don't want to, it'll be touching your frogs. So I finally got it back in the enclosure, and then it was super happy because I had also fed lots of flies. And so it was eating all the flies. I also had a long-tailed lizard event today. So the cat will walk through the house and help me feed the critters. And she was there meowing and helping. And then both the long-tailed lizards came out of their bin and were like, oh, yay, we're leaving. And yeah, so it is highly likely that it is fruit flies if they're really interested in the food. The fungus gnats will actually they bury they lay their eggs in the substrate so that the babies eat fungus in the soil, and it actually does work as a cleanup crew. They're just annoying to people, so that's the downside side. So yeah, I would definitely just throw out his food more often and make sure that it's not going in a trash can that's staying nearby. You want to make sure that it's getting out on a regular basis. I also sometimes put, my great grandma would put apple cider vinegar in a jar and then add a couple drops of dish soap, and then that will draw the flies in, and that will kill them, and is going to be better than a sticky trap because you don't have to worry about animals getting stuck in it. And you can put that nearby to help reduce your population in the short term so that they're not continuing that cycle of reproducing and being annoying. Right? We've got so many flies in our reptile room right now.
I love how you're looking at me
like you know.
have anything to say on this subject.
You have nothing to say on the flies? Did you notice them? You didn't notice flies in the reptile room? Okay. We did have fungus gnats for a while too because of the isopod bins in there. I think I got all those taken care of though.
See what I live with.
Flies or a wife that talks about critters and which one? Both? You live with both the flies?
It's always both. It's so many both. We're not even done with the list yet. We could go on all night.
Of what?
All the things.
All the critters?
Well, that too, that I have to live with.
You say that, but who's been on a snake buying spree?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't?
No idea whatsoever. What snakes have I bought?
Achilles?
So first off, he's up there, hiding in the bookshelf. He loves it. He just crawled right up on the top shelf, and he's hiding behind all the junk I have stacked up there. Second off, that was for you. That was your present.
But who loves him?
Obviously.
Who else loves him?
No idea what you're talking about.
So the most likely reason that you killed off your dairy cows with your corn snake is that it got too dry. The best recommendation for fixing, obviously you won't fix the fact that all of them are dead now, but I put moss underneath and around all of my water dishes, and then every time I refill the water, I overflow that, so that becomes like this hydration station for my isopods. And then that makes a huge difference. And then providing them with some flat cork pieces throughout the enclosure can also help provide those micro habitats where it's a little more humid. I would definitely, with the corn snake, the care guides are all over the place on how humid they need. Some people say you only need 30% humidity, but I really try to keep the soil or the substrate fairly moist because they live outside here in North Carolina, and it's pretty darn humid. So interesting. So was the dry side the hot side or the cool side? That is very interesting.
Will you tell me that you have neither a spell of resurrection nor necromancy to fix this problem?
I cannot. Otherwise, we'd fix the problem of those ones that didn't make it to Michigan.
Oh, that's true.
We had isopods this week that did not make it to Michigan.
If anybody has a spell of resurrection for sale, where you're in the market, it would make shipping reptiles very straightforward.
Yeah. Interesting that they're staying on the drier side. So, yeah. Well, and the giant canyons do really well in the more arid. Although dairy cows can also do that. A lot of people do keep them successfully with their bearded dragons and their leopard geckos. So that is very interesting. I guess I would just try again. Let me know if you need some dairy cows. I know where you can get some. Right? Do you know where to get dairy cows?
I come talk to Danielle at Danielle's Critters, and she usually can provide me with dairy cows.
Usually. So I do have a funny dairy cow story. We were moving, and we had some guys help us pack up to move. And there was a tote that was labeled just dairy cows. That's all it was labeled. And it didn't actually have any isopods in it. It was an old tote that I'd gotten, and I was just using it as storage. But the guy is like, "Oh my gosh, what do you mean dairy cows? How many dairy cows do you have?" And on and on. That is weird.
You're not at all distractible, are you?
What do you mean with the dairy cows?
No, with the chat.
Oh, I'm trying to read it.
See, distracted.
Isn't that how you know what to talk about? The dairy cows are really cheap, and though I totally get it with the whole money thing, we will definitely have some available in August at the Fayetteville show. And I'm hoping for a lot of cool things. That weekend is going to be weird. I don't know if you know this. Fayetteville, the show is actually happening on my birthday. Did you know that?
No.
I didn't think you knew that. You know when my birthday is?
How long have we been married?
I don't think that is.
I guess you just have to wait and find out.
You will know, because it'll be the day I'm like, hey, we're going to Fayetteville.
See, now I don't have to remember. I already bought you a birthday present.
Oh, you're counting Achilles as my birthday present?
Isn't he your dream snake?
He is. I've got a new one though. I just, hello.
Probably.
If you're just getting here, you missed all the snakes. Yeah?
We have one or two snakes.
One or two.
Just roll back and one of them in the enclosures. We used to have enclosure problems where it's like we don't have enough space to put things. Now we have a house that there's enclosures everywhere.
I have collected enclosures recently. She is super. Her sister's all like, "Where's the food?" And she's all like, "I'll go check everything out."
Are you having a little too much fun?
Maybe. Are you? You're just having coffee?
It's very good coffee.
What kind of coffee are we drinking, Peter?
We are drinking La Yerba. It is from
Mexico.
Yes.
Interesting.
La Yerba, Mexico. And it tastes of peach, floral, caramel, and chocolate.
That it might be. It might also be a bigger project than what we're hoping. I don't know how expensive. So top tier, I've talked to him a couple times. He is up in Wake Forest, and he does a great job making custom PVC enclosures. And so we'll be talking to them to see. But the handier you are, the cooler, like all sorts of stuff. So you can do store displays, but you could also do like furniture. I've seen some really cool. There's a group that I'm in that's called DIY Enclosures, and they set up all kinds of really cool enclosures in furniture pieces. So if you are handy, then that and have the space to do it. We have both a time and energy problem because we have a lot of critters that have to be taken care of, and we don't have a good space for like a workshop. So we are not on the build our own enclosure thing. You can also just straight out build. It's just a box with a sliding door. And so if you do it out of wood, you have to seal it, but that's not that big of a deal either. And then it's still a lot cheaper. We ended up with a lot of enclosures at discount prices recently.
You've just been collecting them.
I started collecting them. And Petco they're not giant, but yeah, so you can do some really cool I do remember that you guys make the leatherwork stuff. Here's where I'm getting all definitely outside of my realm of expertise. I do remember that you make leather bags. So like I would definitely join some of those groups on how they're building out various enclosures out of, because I've seen there was a guy who took, I think, an old entertainment center and he made it into a really cool enclosure, and he picked up the entertainment center off the side of the road. And so, like, if you have, all of those things and are crafty enough, the only thing you have to do is make sure that the animal that's going in there, especially if it needs humidity or high humidity, you want to make sure everything's sealed really well so that wood doesn't get wet, that kind of thing. But then you can make some really cool stuff. We've done. The most I've done as a build it myself is just like the backgrounds, and that in itself is a lot more work than I ever imagined. So our daughter made a couple of bioactive enclosures, and she did the whole spray foam thing and carved everything out, painted it. It was really beautiful. And I'm like, if she did it, how hard can it be? And I did a little 12 by 12 by 18. So a real small enclosure. And it took me weeks. Weeks. So it was a lot more work than I thought it would be. And then we did the 4 by 2 by 4 for the emerald tree skinks. Their enclosure turned out pretty good, though I've got some adjustments on how we'll be doing the next one. And then I am pretty excited about the build for the reticulated pythons. It's a whole new challenge with them being bigger and heavier and liking to climb. Oh, there's a lot of cool reptile decor that you can do with the 3D printer. That's true. That is true. There is a lot of crap furniture out there.
Well, I think you have a lot of critters that you've got to put to bed.
I didn't even grab as many as I wanted to.
Well, guess what?
What?
We can do this again next week, can't we?
Yes, we can.
See,
we have no shows for all of July. It is both exciting and a little nerve-wracking. Very exciting from the, oh my gosh, we have 4 weekends off. Can you imagine 4 weekends with no shows?
Yes, I can.
You can. When's the last time we had 4 weekends with no shows?
How should I know? I don't keep track of time.
2023.
That's been a long while.
Oh, so that is actually a closet rod. But yes, I was thinking about doing that with the retics too, because they like to climb, and then it would give that sturdy all the way across the enclosure climbing opportunity for them. And then I can also use that to support. So with the bioactive that I watched this lady build for her retic, she put big sturdy branches into so the plants were growing around the stick so that the retics would pick the stick to climb up and down instead of the plant. And so I'm definitely looking at doing that. And that the closet rod would help give you a place to support your other sticks. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be fun and time consuming. Currently, he's in this giant tote. My daughter bought this tote for her ball python when he was a baby. This was his first home, and it is huge, but it's a very temporary solution. And we actually there was somebody who talked to our in-laws about how dangerous our snake was for our daughter. And one of their complaints was the idea that the snake could push up the center of the tote and escape and then climb her loft bed and cause her serious harm. And at the time, Oak was like this big. So the idea that he was either escaping the giant tote or climbing the loft bed and causing our daughter serious harm was hilarious. But with the retic, he could actually push up the center of that tote. So we're taping him in regularly to make sure that he is not able to get out. And next week, I'm hoping to get him into a more permanent temporary. It'll still be temporary home, but he'll be going into a 4x2x2 for the time being until we're ready to do that. Yes, we definitely mentioned Oak. We actually mentioned Oak at the beginning too. You just missed it. So Oak was the first reptile to come into our home. So all of this is Vanessa's fault. Right?
You're gonna blame Vanessa.
Yeah. I didn't know reptile. I didn't know this was a thing until Vanessa.
So it's all Oak's fault. Well, have you showed off a lot of critters? Have you showed off a few critters? All right. Well, then I think maybe it's time to say goodnight because you got to put all these critters to bed.
Okay. Good night, guys. We will definitely be doing this again, and eventually more than 5 people will probably come. Probably.
This has been Danielle's Critters, and if we can take care of critters, so can you.